my name is Nathan Lee, and I'm going to be doing a report on Greg Mortenson, hero or goat. A brief background about his life. He was born in St. Cloud, Minnesota in 1957. When he was young, his family moved to Africa. While there, his father built a school for the children in that area in Tanganyika. He also built a doctor training education center for the people over there. Greg learned that he loved mountaineering when he was 11 in Africa. He had three sisters, the youngest of which name was Krista, and she had epilepsy. And according to Greg, he was the closest to Krista. When his family returned to the United States after living in Africa, he graduated from high school and became a medic in the military and served in the army for 2 years in Germany. When he returned, he graduated from the University of South Dakota in 1983 with a degree in nursing and chemistry. His love for climbing continued throughout all this time, and one day when he was on a climb, he accidentally fell and hurt himself, and he learned later that his sister Krista had died at around the same time as the accident happened. Little did Greg know, however, that this was going to change the course of his life. So a couple years later, and this is all told by Greg, he said a couple years later, a friend invited him to hike a mountain called K2, which is the second largest mountain in the world. And he wanted to do this in honor of his late sister, Krista. Somewhere along the way, though, Greg became lost and he ended up in a little village called Corfe. He was on the brink of death when he arrived in this village, he said. He hadn't had a lot of food and water for the past few days, and he was in really bad condition. But the people in this village nursed him back to health, gave him a place to rest and recover. And because of this act of kindness, Greg says that he really wanted to do something to help the people in this village. So when he was about ready to leave, he discovered that there were 84 children doing their schoolwork in the dirt with sticks. So he promised a little girl named Cho-Cho that he would return and build them a school. When he returned to America, he continued a nursing job. He sold almost everything he had except for his car, of which he lived out of for 3 years in order to raise $12,000 to build a school in Corfe. So right when he got that $12,000, he went back to Corfe and he built the school for him. And this started his journey into building schools for people in Pakistan and Afghanistan. He is a husband and father of two kids, and he founded or co-founded in 2009 the Central Asia Institute, which is his charity, which has made nearly $60 million going towards building schools for the kids in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Here's a quote that says, as of 2009, Mortenson has established or significantly supports 131 schools in rural and often volatile regions of Pakistan and Afghanistan, which provide education to over 58,000 children, including 44,000 girls, where few educational opportunities existed before. He's published 4 books about his charity and building schools in Pakistan, one of which was called The 3 Cups of Tea, which was on New York bestseller list for over 100 weeks, and it was also one of the reasons he was nominated to win a Nobel Prize. But here's the problem with Greg's story. Researcher and author John Krakauer says that all of what Mortenson said happened, all his exaggerated stories were a lie. Start off, he found out by one of Greg's friends that did the hike with him. John interviewed him and found out that Greg really didn't get lost in the hike. He completed the hike, and it wasn't until a year later that he returned to Corfe, or not returned, but he went for the first time to Corfe. So John was really curious about this, and he went to the village itself with some news journalists, and he found out that this was true. The people said that Greg didn't really just arrive in their village needing help and needing to be brought back to life, stranded. But he did actually build a school in Corfe, so no one had anything bad to say about Greg. They loved him because of everything that he's done for them, but that his story was in fact a lie. Later, Mortenson had said that he returned to Pakistan and he was kidnapped by the Taliban for 8 days because he was looking for a new place to build schools. But if you see on this picture on the right, the two people on the left were apparently part of the kidnapping group. And you can see that's Greg there standing with them with an AK-47. So John actually found those two people on the left and interviewed them, said, no, we never kidnapped him. But but it was all a lie. But they did know him. John also accuses Greg of using the CAI as a personal bank account. So really, it's up to you to decide whether he's a hero or a goat. Greg has helped thousands, tens of thousands of children in Pakistan and Afghanistan by building them schools. Everyone over there loves him. He's done undoubtedly many great things, but the way he's got there has been a lie. So he really doesn't deserve the credit he's been given, but he does all at the same time. So it's up to you. Is he a hero or a goat? Thank you for listening.